And our headliner, former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, now senior advisor to America First Action. His new book is called The Briefing: Politics, the Press, and the President. Sean, how you doing? Good morning, and picked a pretty good news day.
Good morning. Wow, never quiet around here.
How was your relationship with Omarosa?
It was fine, I guess. I didn't really interact with her that much. She came and she'd sit in meetings from time to time, and it wasn't like we were close by any means.
Here are the tweets from the president 34 minutes ago. Wacky Omarosa got fired 3 times in The Apprentice. Now got fired for the last time. She never made it, never will. She begged me for a job. Tears in her eyes. I said, okay. People in the White House hated her. She was vicious but not smart. I would rarely see her but heard really bad things. Nasty to people and would constantly miss meetings and work. When General Kelly came on board, he told me she was a loser and nothing but problems. I told him to try working it out if possible, because she only said great things about me until she got fired. Is that the end of it?
Well, think about this. She walked out of the White House after she was fired and sung the president's praises on multiple occasions, on video and print, etc. And then within weeks is peddling a deal with publishers to say anything that she could to make money on a book deal. So that tells you all you need to know about her. The reality is that when she left, she says that she resigned. Now she says she was fired. When she left, she said that great things about the president. The first time she has to make money off of him again, she says quite the opposite. Over and over again, including on the interviews that she's given, she has just repeated false and misleading things. As I mentioned yesterday on your air, the idea that she brought a personal recording device into the Situation Rooms says all you need to know about Omarosa. She will do anything to further her own being, as opposed to uphold the security protocols that guard our national security.
You know, Sean, there's so many alarming details about this. Number one, just the fact that she has completely just turned her back on a man who has supported her career from way back in her Apprentice days. But then number two, the security breach here. I understand she didn't technically break any laws, but it almost seems like there should be laws that have been broken here. This is a security detail, the Situation Room, where cell phones are not allowed, where national security topics are discussed. Highly sensitive information, and she manages to get in there with a cell phone.
Well, I mean, I think that part of the reason is that when you're granted or apply for a security clearance, you agree to uphold to the standards and policies and procedures that are set forth. There's a box at each end of the Situation Room when you walk in, where you're supposed to not just put cell phones, but any kind of recording or wireless device, anything that has Bluetooth capabilities. And so you've got to wonder, she clearly went in there not just in violation of it because she carried the phone,
right,
but she had it on record. I mean, that is an unbelievable violation of every security protocol that was put in place. And I assume she had to have filled out some kind of paperwork at multiple points during her employment, which this would have been a violation of.
Speaking of paperwork, she also signed a non-disclosure. She went out there and adamantly supported the president. And first of all, she thought she was supporting a future president who was a racist. She wouldn't have done so. She wouldn't have taken a job there. She also signed a non-disclosure agreement. That is legally binding. This woman is in hot water. I don't believe this is over yet.
Right, but also, I mean, she started to make accusations about me yesterday in my book, which are completely false and inflammatory. I mean, look, here's the reality. I left the White House September 1st of last year. I made an agreement to pen my book in December, and I turned in that work in May. I didn't join America First until June 15th. She claims that I was paid hush money. If so, she should provide evidence, because I'd love to know where that money went. I didn't receive any hush money. I didn't join America First until June 15th. So, you know, I think I'm probably due a little of that hush money.
Well, I heard you make the comment that she never reached out to me, and she should have, and I would have given her a comment, but I never heard contact. Police soundbite number 2, guys. You're going to hear a lot from her this coming week. It started on the Today Show on NBC this morning about lies inside the West Wing of the White House.
As you'll see in Unhinged, I protected myself because this is a White House where everybody lies. The president lies to the American people. Sarah Huckabee stands in front of the country and lies every single day. You have to have your own back, because otherwise you'll look back and you'll see 17 knives in your back.
Kellyanne Conway fired back with his 30 pieces of silver, a 7-figure book advance for you. Sarah Sanders says this: the very idea of a staff member would sneak a recording device into the White House Situation Room shows a blatant disregard for national security. Then to brag about it on national television further proves the lack of character and integrity of this disgruntled former White House employee. Late last night, Axios reports that everybody at the White House was afraid of her. Were they?
I don't know they were afraid of her, but I think there was clearly rumors and concern about what came out to be true, which is, there were always rumors that she was recording people. No one knew whether that was the case or not. And then there's a question about, the level of integrity and trustworthiness that she had. But look, Bill, the bottom line is that, as I mentioned, she walked out of this White House talking about how great her experience was, how much admiration she had for the president, how much he had accomplished, and how pleased she was with her tenure there. It only took a few weeks for her to be bought off, and that just tells you everything you need to know about her. But the reality is, to be going around the White House secretly taping people, and then to top it all off, to bring a recording device into one of the most secure places that is supposed to exist, tells you everything that you need to know about her. She is untrustworthy, disloyal, and I think that, Kellyanne and Sarah are right. It's just unbelievable. But here's the bigger issue that I have, too, is these same news outlets that decry fake news, that talk about pursuit of the facts, now prominently display her. Why? Because she's going after the president. If she had written about her life and experience and continued to speak pleasantly about the president, one, I'm not sure it would have
They wouldn't be covering it.
But B, these same places would never have had her.
Right. All right, I want to move on to a more pressing topic here, and this is Rudy Giuliani. He has essentially come out and said that the president would sit down with Robert Mueller. This debate has been going on since you were in the White House and continues. So now he's saying if it's after September 1st, he's not going to do it because of the midterms. He's also laid some groundwork out, essentially saying, look, if he does it, they'll talk about collusion with Russia in the 2016 election. They won't talk obstruction of justice. I want you to play soundbite 7 from Rudy Giuliani talking about how he wants an investigation of the Mueller investigation. Listen to this.
But it begins with a phony dossier, Strzok, the Horowitz report, which basically casts all kinds of doubt on what happened with Hillary, and then those people are transformed to the counterintelligence investigation. It never produces a darn thing. I am now convinced that the initiation of the independent counsel was totally illegal. There's no crime that's alleged.
We haven't seen any proof of a crime yet. Where is this going?
That's a great question, right? So you mentioned it's been going on since I was there. The question is, at what point this cloud that's hanging over the president's agenda is troubling, because for 18 months we've been hearing about this, and yet there's not been a single leak, a shred that there was any kind of collusion or evidence of the sort. And I think it's about time that it either gets wrapped up or he puts his cards on the table, because the president trying to focus on getting results for the American people. And having this hang over them is not helpful. It's a waste of time. And I think that as soon as it can get wrapped up, the better. So I trust that the president's getting the counsel he deserves to figure out how to put a conclusion to this.
What do you think about that September 1 deadline that was thrown out over the weekend? Have that deadline. If not, the midterms intercede here, and we're off for another several months, Sean.
Right. I think, look, the mayor's doing his job and making sure that this cloud doesn't continue to hang over the president as we head into these crucial midterm elections. So I'll let him decide what the terms are of when they'll talk and how long and about what. But he's right from the standpoint of that we cannot head into another midterm with this kind of hanging over. It's been going on for a long time. And it's about time that the cards got laid on the table.
Hope you come back, Sean. Good luck with the book, and thanks for being our headliner today. Sean Spicer,
guys.
don't be a stranger. Thank you.